Like an invisible force, a shroud of silence fell over the Duggar family complex from the ominous and gloomy sky over Springdale, Arkansas. Be careful. There was a muffled quiet and the heavy silence of a night without wind, but neither thunder or lightning. Somewhere in the house, a phone began to ring, and then, in the distance, a rooster gathered uncomfortably. When Stephen Wissmann woke up from his deep sleep to look at the screen, he was unable to recognize the urgent local number. "Hello," he muttered. An EMT collapse ensued as words poured out of the receiver like a torrent following a brief pause. He prayed in time with each whispered prayer while speeding down back roads that wound through empty fields without socks. Jana Duggar, his wife, best friend, and anchor, had fainted in the garden hours earlier, and after what appeared to be exhaustion developed into something more serious, she was rushed to Mercy Hospital. His sweating hands dropped the keys. "Hello. This is Duggar 24. Give this video a thumbs up, please." They had a nice chuckle that morning while pushing weeds in the shade and sipping iced tea. She even had a visit to Joy scheduled for the next week. As though repeating it enough would stop time, he insisted that she was okay. Nurses rushed in as the emergency room doors opened when he finally reached the hospital. She looked pale, her freckles contrasting sharply with the bag of fluids hanging next to her. Her eyes were closed but brilliant, awake, and unflinching, and her lips were a shade of blue. A rare and abrupt viral inflammation of the heart is called myocarditis. Stephen and Jim struggled to understand the doctor's use of phrases like ventilator support, touch and go, and intensive care unit admission, and their lack of assurances. At the Duggar compound, Bob Duggar listened silently on his cell phone, nodding without comment. For the first time in decades, he sat on the edge of the bed without uttering a single word from the Bible, without urging them to be more resilient, and without attempting to control anything. "Who was it?" Michelle murmured as she watched him and stretched for her mouth. She waited for him to say something, already dreading the answer. At last, he yelled, "Stephen. It's Jana. Her condition is critical. Her heart is in it." Michelle made a tiny sound that sounded like a plea and a gasp as she slid backward. Her Bible, which she usually carried with her, clattered lightly on the carpet as she exclaimed, "Not Jana, not my rock." Within hours, the quiet ambience of the house was suddenly disturbed as the telephone began to ring. Sons who hadn't sobbed since they were young started to do so in public. Daughters who hadn't spoken in years started to cry on the phone, and the in-laws took in infants. The plans were abandoned, and everything was hurriedly packed. It didn't really matter what else happened at this point. Jessica is a woman. Jill Jenny, the Mercy Hospital emergency department was crowded with 17 siblings, some of whom had their own children. There was no interaction between Josh and Joy, and they were all being monitored. Several of the siblings were still dressed in soiled garments from their tense and rushed travels. The waiting room turned into a tumultuous tapestry of terror and prayer, with bloodshot eyes. Joy curled up in a chair and gripped her Bible hard, but she was unable to understand a word of it. Unaware that she was crying too, Jessica rocked a crying infant while Jacob sat by himself with his hands over his head. "She can't die," Jinger muttered to Jeremy as Jason rushed around like a savage monster. "She was responsible for keeping this family together." Jeremy gave her shoulder a light squeeze. "I am aware that after years of silence, even Jill arrived broken and alienated from her family. She came because Jana had never judged her, and blood held special meaning for her. Family conflicts were irrelevant when a sister's life was in jeopardy." She walked quietly into the room and took a glance around. Stephen, a pallid, wild-eyed specter of his former self, stood in the far corner. "How bad is it?" she asked him. His remark was almost audible. "They don't think she'll make it through the night." She took a seat firmly in the nearest chair and started to sob profoundly, trembling, from a place she didn't know was still sensitive. For the first time in months, Jill's breath caught in her throat. The Duggar family, who are renowned for their fortitude, harmony, and steadfast faith, are going through one of their most difficult and emotional times to date. The Duggar family's eldest daughter, Jana Duggar Wissmann, who is sometimes referred to as the second mom by her numerous siblings, has apparently been admitted to the hospital because of a serious illness. According to people close to the family, her husband Stephen Wissmann is upset and is supporting her during what they describe as a frightening and heartbreaking chapter. Fans of the once TLC-featured family were alarmed and perplexed by the news when it was announced late Monday night, particularly those who had followed Jana's transformation from a silent caregiver to a loyal wife. A family acquaintance who wished to remain nameless added, "She's always been the strong one. She always puts others before herself and always looks out for them. However, she now requires the rest of us." An unexpected and dangerous turn. According to reports, Jana, 35, started having severe exhaustion, frequent fevers, and unexplainable pain approximately a week ago. She dismissed it at first, classic Jana. However, Stephen demanded that she be admitted to the hospital when her symptoms grew worse. According to a different report, she didn't want to make a fuss. She insisted that it was likely nothing more serious than the flu. However, Stephen was aware of a problem. "We're going now," he said. "No more holding out." When they arrived at the hospital, the doctors took immediate action. Tests were requested all day and night after Jana was admitted. Her white blood cell count was off the charts, her blood pressure was low, and she was dehydrated, an unidentified facility nurse revealed. "We realized immediately that it was not something to be taken lightly. Although the precise diagnosis has not been made public, family members are speculating that it may be a serious viral illness or an autoimmune disease. Close observation and prolonged hospitalization would be necessary for both disorders." "He hasn't left her side," said Stephen Wissmann. The unexpected health concern has allegedly left Jana's husband, Stephen Wissmann, who is a member of the musically talented Wissmann family, utterly devastated and terrified. According to a mutual friend, Stephen is typically the strong, composed guy. But this really got to him. He has been praying nonstop, walking the hospital hallways, and keeping an eye on every test and development. He isn't even getting enough sleep. On Wednesday, images of Stephen sitting by himself in the hospital chapel appeared on social media, his hands clasped in prayer and his head bent. In response, fans have showered him and Jana with love and encouragement. "She's my heart," he says often. "I can't let her go," a relative said. They recently got married and are currently enjoying their honeymoon. "A fear like this is too much for anyone to handle." The Duggars hurry to be by her side. According to reports, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar were shocked to hear the news back in Arkansas. As soon as the couple learned of Jana's hospitalization, they immediately went out to be with her despite their frequently tense relationship with the spotlight these days. In addition to expressing their love and prayers, some of Jana's siblings, including Jessa, Johannah, and John David, have visited the hospital or communicated with her via video calls. According to one insider, "It's bringing the family together in a way we haven't seen in a while. Everyone is putting Jana first and putting aside their disagreements. It is now their moment, and she has always supported them." Supporters and fans speak up. Despite the fact that the Duggars have long been a contentious family in the public light, Jana Duggar has managed to maintain a sizable and silent following. Many admirers praised her for her power and grace, as well as her consistent presence, dedication to her family, and independence. She remained unmarried until her mid-30s. A longtime fan tweeted, "I can't believe this is happening to her. She has consistently served as the family's pillar. I'm praying for her to get better. Jana deserves peace, health, and happiness," said another fan. "I'm hoping she emerges from this stronger than before." As fans eagerly anticipate more information, prayers, heart emojis, and well wishes have descended into Instagram comment sections on Duggar family accounts. The official Duggar channels are quiet. It's interesting to note that the Duggar family has mostly kept quiet on their public websites. No press releases, no family blogs, no Instagram posts, at least not just yet. According to sources, the quiet is deliberate. One of the family's close friends stated, "They're trying to keep it private. This isn't a time for publicity. This is the actual world. They need room to think and pray." Insiders, however, suggest that if Jana's health improves, a public statement would be released shortly, possibly via Dillard or Jinger Vuolo, who have been the most outspoken of the Duggar siblings in recent years. Now what? According to reports, Jana is being closely monitored by doctors. While additional testing is conducted, she is receiving treatment with intravenous fluids, antibiotics, and other drugs. Her condition is still considered serious even though it is stable. According to a source, Stephen informed a pal, "She's a fighter. I've met no stronger woman than her. I'm not going away either. It's uncertain if she will require further long-term care or if she will be freed shortly." However, Jana is not alone. That much is certain. The family acquaintance added in a shaky voice, "She dedicated her entire life to caring for others. At this point, all we can do is hope that someone looks after her."